Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, racing VTuber and an artist. And today we are not working on this drawing. This one's already done. I had it open because I wanted to borrow some of the stuff in the background here for the last page. I think this is gonna be cool. I got a good feeling about it, but we'll have to wait a little while to get there. First, we have to do this page here. All right. So how are we going to do this? I think first we gotta add Hawk. Well, no, Hawk might not be the best first choice. I think maybe just work on the background first. And I do think we're going to need to crack open the other couple pages. So hang on. If I open up page 12. Yeah, page 12 is going to be our bread and butter. Okay, let's see. I'm going to grab this to make the colors for the grass. I can't think about like grass anymore without like that one voice clip from Sonic in the Dark Knight popping up in my head where that's like, ugh, this grass. Why? I don't remember why they made him say that. I remember playing through Sonic and the Black Knight and liking it a lot when I was 10 because I thought Sonic the Hedgehog and swords were two of the coolest things on Earth. So naturally, a game that combined these two things was the peak of like human invention. My logic, as you can see, might not have been the best, but I stand by it. Also, I think filling up to the vector path isn't a good idea just now. I might just do some other stuff here. I don't know. I feel like this background page is going to be particular. Like this panel might be the one that takes the longest. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's what I think, mainly because I feel like it's going to be. I'm going to need to add some trees to this sucker too. I just realized that. There's a lot that I'm going to need to do. Oh, hey buddy, how you doing? I'm Pabs, a racing VTuber and an artist, and we are just getting started. We're starting out. You were doing some knitting and crocheting earlier, right? How did that go? Did you have fun? Wait, what? Did that actually change color? Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh boy, that color is not too different from what I have in the background, is it? That might cause some issues. Well, whatever. I'm sure it's fine. But yeah, if you're feeling tuckered out from the stream, feel free to, to raid and run. But if you want to stick around, I always appreciate it. Figuring out this background is going to take a minute. I feel like I understand the basics of it, like the principles of it do not escape me. But I feel like the specifics of it are going to be my downfall, perhaps. Okay, then over here. Oh shoot, I missed some spots. All right, hang on. This is fine. I know exactly what to do. And we need to like up the contrast on this, I think. This is somewhat untenable. Maybe it'd be helpful if I did the big stupid sphere in the middle of the drawing first. I might have to try that out and see how it fits me. Okay. Oh, did I miss a spot? My fault. My fault. What's great about this is that even if I technically end up missing part of the gray, I'll just notice it later, and I can just fill it up with this darker gray. Although I do think that maybe adding a slight cleave here. I don't know. These are supposed to be like clouds and whatnot, but I feel like they look a little bit more like seaweed. Got it. Seaweed is crazy because you'll feel like perfectly safe swimming somewhere until you feel something weird brush up against your leg. And it's usually just seaweed. Usually. But I don't know, it can really give you like a life or death scare. I prefer swimming in man-made pools rather than like natural water sources. I used to like not care at all about swimming in weird places. Like I would like see a beach and I would be like, I'm already in there. Like my ass would be in the water minute one. I don't know. I feel like now there's so few places where it's like safe to do that. I don't know. I feel like it's been a while since I've been in a place that has like a beach that you can take a dip in. Actually, it's been a while since I've been in a pool too. Yeah, certain waterborne viruses have made that idea somewhat unappealing, sadly. Okay. I wonder if those clouds make sense. Okay, Mr. Takeshi Hongo. I need you to leave. I need you to give me some privacy for a minute. I cannot keep living like this. Okay, I might need to open up an even earlier page. I don't know. Did I use like the normal toning for the inside of this part? No, I might need to make some radical changes to. Ooh, wait, no, hang on. Oh yes. All right. Okay, never mind. We're back. We're so back. All right. Call me Backstreet the way I'm so back. There's something that's been bothering me about this line. There's like a line here that I know is in one of these. Here we go. Found ya. Also, I just gotta do something in this background real quick. Millipen, increase the brush size, refer only to editing layer. Still not working properly. Maybe if I just kind of go in there like this. Like if I zoom out, there's like this weird white line there. And it doesn't seem to go away very easily. I don't know why it's like this. Like it's right here too. And I notice this sometimes when I'm taking screenshots, but I don't know what to do against it. Like even if I fill it in the middle like that, it'll still end up like that a little bit. I don't know, it's tough. Well, whatever. I'm sure if I don't overthink it, it won't end up hurting me. That's how things work, I think. Okay, then over here. Okay, and also this one. Oh, I see. It's a little straight line. I was wondering why that one wasn't fully complete. I was wondering what this line was about. Okay, I think I see what it is. Let me just go in there with a vector erase. Okay, there we go. All right, let's keep going. I feel like I left too much of this back part unused, but that can't be helped, I don't think. Yeah, I think that, like, that's my greatest concern as an artist is like the balance between empty space. Hang on. I'm always really worried about the balance between empty space and the level of detail that I need for certain parts. Like, it's always that question of, okay, if I give it, if I add like this level of detail, am I gonna be okay drawing that later? All right, like, is this gonna be like a cool one-time thing, or am I gonna be like Sisyphus having to draw this whole thing over and over again, time after time in the future? And sadly, most of the time, it is very much like Sisyphus. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the times I'm bothered like by the. I like drawing certain parts of it, but not like other parts. I don't know. Like I like drawing the basic lines of action, but it's kind of a bother to draw everything else attached to it. I'd stick to storyboarding if that was all that was wrong, but I don't know. I feel like that's hmm. I don't know. Maybe I'm too attached to like the whole creation process. I feel like the people who are the most productive or the strongest are those who can be like, all right, I understand my ownership of this, but at the same time, I also recognize that if I want to finish this, I can't just, it can't just be me, right? Like, I can't do it all by myself. But I don't know. That has its own difficulties. I feel. Like being able, like I feel like on the one hand you're like, okay, I understand that this is what it needs to be done, but on the other hand you're like clutching your project tightly and being like, but this is my baby. All right, let's take another look at page 11. How's that? Okay, that's still kind of like the same purple-ish ground. I'm gonna shift it a few tones towards blue for the purposes of this. Select color gamut. This one here. Ploink. All right, then going back here. I don't know. It's kind of like pinkish color for the dirt doesn't seem so bad. Maybe a little bit more towards like reddish or orange even. What? Hold up. What's going on over here? What? I don't know. I really like the select color gamut tool, but it sometimes has some difficulties recognizing everything. I think it's because I don't set the tolerance high enough sometimes. That or my ass does not. Oh, look, there's even some stuff here. That's harsh. All right, that's fine. Okay. Making it lighter doesn't seem to help. Shifting more towards red or purple. That feels a little bit better. Making it this kind of like puce. Puce is such a weird name for a color. I wonder what the name comes from. It sounds like some kind. I'm guessing it's some kind of rock or something. Also, I do hope that it's pronounced puce and not like I don't know, something else. I feel like that's one of those that I feel like I'm confident in my pronunciation of, but at the same time, I feel like it could very easily be any other number of things. Single syllable words are a real gamble. I don't know what to tell you. Let me look that up real quick, actually. Puce. All right, here we go. All right, hang on. All right. Color between dark red and purple brown. The term comes from the French couleur puce, literally meaning flea color. What the fuck? Yo, they said this color straight up looks like flea. The puce became popular in the 18th century France. It appeared in clothing at the court of Louis the that's 16th, and was said to be a favorite color of Marie Antoinette. Though there are no portraits of her wearing it. Holy shit. Huh. Variations of puce. Puce. Hang on, how do you pronounce it? Like, wait, this is about the color. For the school PUCE, si Pontifica Universidad Católica de Ecuador. ¡Anda, Ecuador número uno! The Pontifical Catholic University, founded in 1946 in Quito, Ecuador. How about that? How do you... Hang on. Okay, so it is pronounced puce. Alright, neat. And why... I guess the flea does look similar to that color? That's... I don't know, I feel like it's... If somebody was like, "Hey man, what color do you usually wear? Like, what color is your purse or something?" And I had to say, "Oh, it's flea colored." I would feel a little bit put off. I would feel a little bit embarrassed having to admit it's like flea. I got the flea flavored purse. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. Perhaps it's just a matter of strength of will that lets you confidently walk around saying, I got the flea Gucci." Yeah, I got that. I have the Tick Chanel. What other parasitic bugs exist that I could append to a luxury fashion brand? I have the hawk wasp Hermes. That one doesn't have as much of a bite to it. I think hawk wasp's thing is popular enough to warrant them At least I think it's a hawk wasp. Like, there's this one wasp that like lays its eggs by stinging other creatures, and then the eggs eat the other creature inside out. Maybe that's a little bit too dark. Wait. No. God damn it, there's other tents! Did I include those at least in page 9? Please tell me I did. Please tell me I did not fuck up the tents. Please. Please, I cannot deal with this today. It's been a really rough day. I cannot deal with this. Past Pabs, please come in clutch. Oh, okay, it's just out of frame. Phew! Woo-hoo. Oh my god. That really would have been the last straw for today. Ay. Alright, let's just add that real quick. I don't know. I feel like my fuse is getting a lot shorter these days. I think it's a sign that I need to go outside for a little bit longer. I don't know. Sometimes it's like, okay, am I losing my mind because my life actually is a train wreck, or am I losing my mind because I just haven't left the house in a couple weeks? And sometimes it's a little bit of both, but surely doing something like the relief one cannot harm the other. Alright, let's see here. Yeah, the plan here is to... Hold up. Oh, drat. Did I do this on different layers? Hold on, let me fix that real quick. Okay, there we go. Okay, then just grab these other guys too. I forgot what this one looks like. Oh, here we go. Okay, then this one. Honestly, I kind of popped off with this weird random obelisk. Very stylish. I do feel like this is a very stylish obelisk. Okay, then what more is there? Okay, I think it's this one, and then what else? This one. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy and paste this layer and tonal correct it to be like that same night sky effect that we've used for the other ones so far, but way down. And maybe also with some kind of blending mode on there. I don't know. This one feels pretty good. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't interrupt anything, but it's still sufficient to not be a bother. Additionally, I'll need to remember to add some trees back here. Okay, backgrounds. Give me those trees. And I'm gonna grab the trees that I had right over here. Don't you love those pre-loaded textures? Also, okay, those trees would be like 800 meters tall. Maybe I should tone it down a little bit. Planet that's only got trees the size of the General Sherman or whatever, that one tree that's like super huge. That's super old, super huge. Redwood oak, I believe. Do you think the park rangers who watch my streams would get mad if I called that tree General What's His Nuts? I feel like they might be a little bit upset by that. The only troops I respect is General Sherman. Put that on a bumper sticker, and you're basically set. I can never remember. I used to think for the longest time that the word foliage wanted FOILLAGE, but I know now that how it's pronounced. I used to think it was foliage, but now it's foliage. Foliaje. All right, let's see. All right, first things first. If I'm first, I strike the hand. The gun. None of these are helpful. This one's going to be helpful. Okay, I'm going to label these just so I don't forget to turn them back on. This one does not need the label. But this one does. My observational skills, as always, are quite impressive. Okay. This one should be set. Well, no, actually, we still need to do this back part. And also the rest of the gun. But this brownish color should be set. I did, however, forget what color I made this big trigger thing on the back. I think it might just be the normal brown color. I've got so many of these pages open. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it's the same color as the rest of it. All right, we ball. Wii Ball is the name of an unreleased Nintendo Wii peripheral that never made it to the West and was only shipped for a few small countries in Eastern Europe. It is now a highly sought after collector's edition item. All right, then add the color here. I put off doing Hawk until the very last minute because I think she's going to be like the most. She won't be particularly complicated, but it'll be easier to get to her once we have the background done. Yep, okay. Right, this bottom part is glass. Okay. And put this over here. Rockin'. All right. Now we go and add the... Hang on. Okay, from there we add the shading, the kind of like shading layer to it. I don't know why I keep doing this thing where I forget that I'm supposed to do the shading layer first, and then like this color is just supposed to be on a separate layer. I mean, the good news is that I'm not essentially triplicating my work, because I can just like control select everything on this second layer here and then just use that to select what I have on this first layer. But I feel like I might not be fully optimized here somehow. Also, I'm almost certain this means I haven't actually shaded anything. Hang on, let me try shading one thing, just for kicks. See, that looks better already. That looks so much more congruous. Kind of. Congruous is a word, right? I feel pretty good on the odds that congruous is a word. Congruent is definitely a word. Congruous, feel pretty good about the odds, but not a certainty. In any case, I'm pretty sure my point has been made, right? Like, what I'm trying to say with that word is understandable. So I feel like if that's the case, I've at least succeeded with regards to the purpose of language. I win at language, something that is both normal to want and possible to achieve. Okay, then over here. Over here. Okay. Grab these. It occurs to me right now that I didn't actually add the color for for the glass in the first layer. So let's go back and do that real quick. Also, I think I didn't color in the grenades at all, so I'll have to do that as well. Okay, and this should be the right color for the glass. Now, something about the top of this glass doesn't seem right. I'm gonna go ahead and try and correct that. Okay. Oh, I missed a couple of parts. I see now. Okay. Nice. All right, so now we can do a little bit of light shading on this as well. I keep calling it light shading. I feel like I've either shaded it or I haven't shaded it. Like the work itself might be light, but it's either shaded or unshaded. Lightly shaded. You know, it feels like that's not a very helpful term. Is all. You know, it's like how something can be half on the ground, right? Like if you drop some soup on the ground, right? You can't be like, oh no, it's just half on the ground. Like if you've dropped the like justifying that like the half of the soup, like the top half of the soup hasn't touched the ground. Like no, at that point it's all touched the ground. I don't know. People are always like, "Would you eat food that landed on the ground?" And like, obviously, you should try to avoid doing that. I think whenever possible. But I am going to say that depending on the circumstances, you may not be unjustified in wanting in being okay with eating food off the ground. But I feel like whenever you bring that into the argument, people are like, "Okay, so you're just making up scenarios. You're inventing a guy who's in a specific situation where he has to eat food that has been dropped on the ground." I don't know. There's some things that I believe in the 5 second rule for more so than others, and depending on like what surfaces they touch. Okay, then over here. The coils of Nikola Tesla. I remember that back in like 2000, the early 2000s, there was this one there was like this one webcomic called like the Oatmeal or something like that. That I think the most famous thing that they've made now is this one card game called Exploding Kittens, which I remember seeing fucking everywhere. Like for some reason, everybody had Exploding Kittens. It was a very popular card game, and but what I remember them for is I think like they got like the author of the comic got like a Tesla, like before. I think this was before Elon Musk took over the helms of Tesla. He got like a Tesla as like a thing that he could review, and he was like, yeah, no, it's pretty great. The engine is like the size of a watermelon. It's great for crumple space. Like nowadays, we're like, oh yeah, Teslas, those are death traps. But in this one, he's like, yeah, no, it's great because like now I have like so much more crumple space since the front half of the engine is basically like empty. I don't need to worry. Like I have so much extra space to. You know, in case I'm in a crash, there's so much extra crumple space that it's crazy. This is such a safe car. And now it's like these cars will explode and they will break down. They will shit themselves. This is the first car with a beating heart that can bleed, and it has like hemophilia. Tesla Roadster spotted off the ramp on Highway 66 this morning. Seen kind of cuffing heavily into a white handkerchief and pulling away the handkerchief and seeing that it's come back bloody. Teslas are the first car that are the first type of cars that can get scoliosis. I think Teslas are the first kind of cars that can get scurvy. I don't know. Sometimes I like really small vehicles. Like there's this one motorcycle called like the Motocompo, which looks really cool and I think is a very neat little device. However, I do feel like when I look at it, it reminds me of like a Munchkin kitten or something like that. You know, those cats that are like bred for to be like super small forever, and so they have like a bunch of health issues down the line. Hang on, let me show you a picture of the Motocompo because it is a very cool little vehicle. Yeah, the Honda Motocompo. Check this baby out. The idea behind the Motocompo was that you would be able to, it would be small enough that you could store it in your car trunk. And if your car broke down, you could just like hop on this thing and go to the nearest place where you could get help and get help. And you can see that it's even got like handles and everything here for where you could pull it out of the trunk. I don't know. I think it's a very cool little car or little motorcycle. But like I said, it is. I would absolutely not feel all right riding this thing. I think there was also like a Himalayan motorcycle or something. Not the motorcycle itself wasn't made in Himalayas, I don't think. But I do know that. Hang on. Yeah, the Royal Enfield Himalayan. It's like a touring motorcycle. This is one that I remember very vividly. I don't know. I don't remember why. I think I gave it to one of my OCs at some point. But yeah, God, look at this fucking thing. It's like a bug. Some kind of insect. Okay. Gonna shade this part too. Why not? Okay, then over here. All right, what color did I have the glass shading as? Hang on. I feel like it would benefit from having like a little bit of a gap there. The other day I realized that I've somebody discussed the fact that like I don't remember ever finishing a tube of chapstick. They either ended up getting lost, I like threw them away by accident, or they've been misplaced in one way or another. I don't think I've ever finished a tube of chapstick properly. However, very recently I did sort of finish one. So I had a very little chapstick left in the tube, and I think what must have happened is that there was so little chapstick left, and I had accidentally knocked the tube over so many times that the tube itself got loose, and it kind of like face planted right on top, right upside down. So now the situation is that there's still a tiny bit left of like the lip balm, but sadly it is inaccessible because it's like flipped upside down and stuck to the top of the tube. And I don't have any kind of implements that would be good for getting it back out. So as far as I'm concerned, that tube of lip balm is done. I'm struggling to think of how I can remedy this situation. I don't know. There must be some way I can work through it with guts and hope in my heart. Or maybe not. It's hard to say. Okay, then over here. Nope. Yes? Maybe. Maybe if I also do it up here, it'll look better. No, I think the issue is that it's not like at the sides like this. It's lacking something. Hmm. Hmm. Nope. This might be closer. Hmm. No, this doesn't seem right either. Alright, let's try this. Okay, getting warmer. Not quite there, but getting warmer for sure. Okay. I think I should also hide away this part. And why not this part too? Or maybe a little bit lower. Hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that works. Okay, then over here. Okay. Then over here. God, I wish it was Friday. I don't know. Something about this week is really knocking me for a ride. Like it feels like, reasonably speaking, I should have been able to lock in by now in some capacity, but it's just not happening. Well, I'm sure I'll figure it out. I've still got one more day to turn things around. A lot can happen in that amount of time. There are situations which don't change very much at all over time, but there's other situations that change minute over minute. So I don't think there's any time that's like too late to turn things around. Okay, then over here. Also, I do need to add a shadow here. The hedgehog. Okay. And over here as well. Okay, then over here. I'm going to add a couple of little lines here because I feel like that's going to help. Okay. Then over here, let's just go like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Probably let's try not to make a tangent with the little tents over here. Okay. Then let's grab this, copy this, paste this, and well, first I actually need to go back and do some things here. So okay. Yeah, there we go. We got a nice big clear open space that where we can add some droplets for the rust. We're also going to need to figure out the rust around the rest of the sphere. Oh, whatever. We got plenty of time. I also need to add the lightning effects, but those can wait like a little bit. All right, let's see here. Okay, so it goes 31% on what? Lighten. Okay. This one's lighten. This one's hard light. Okay. And this one is add glow. Okay. I think I see what to do. Filter, Gaussian blur. Lighten seems to be working well. Oh, but I'm really liking screen though. Screen is really speaking to me. Add glow is also really good. Yeah, I might just go for that and maybe, hang on. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Hang on, before I do that, let me copy and paste this once again. All right, so then we go add glow. Oh, wow. Look at that. All right, so here's what let's do. Gradient erase this sucker. And then futz around with the opacity to make sure that it's not too... Goodness gracious, that is like straight up incandescent, isn't it? Hang on. I may have missed a couple. Hang on. Pick color from layer, this one here. There we go. Seems I got a little bit overzealous with the spray marks there. Pick color from layer. There we go. Let's do a little bit of quick work right here as well. I'm almost feel like this tone should be darker, but meh. It'll work out or it won't. Alright, how's that look? Pretty much the same as before, but with shadows. Lovely. That's exactly what I was going for. Okay, then over here. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a mighty fine laser cannon, if I do say so myself. Unfortunately, I can't seem to put them in their own folder without compromising the structural integrity of this whole thing. So I'm just going to leave them outside. Okay. All right, in the meantime, let's get started on some of the shading work for this guy. So first of all, naturally, the actual curvature of the sphere needs to be addressed. Let's use a similar method to what we used for the inside. Whoa! Hang on, I accidentally jerked the whole window. Hang on. Maybe we can play around with the hue of these. Okay, then over here. Muy bien. Then over here, just the last little bit of the loop. Hmm. Also, this is the wrong layer. I should not be doing this on the on that layer. Think about the hang on. Think about the outside shading of this dissatisfies me. Maybe if I try something different. Let me take a look at page 2 again. Okay, I think I see where I went wrong. Alright, so shrink it all by around, say, 10 pixels? Or actually, no, we don't need to shrink it. What we do need, however, is a different sort of half-toning. Okay. Getting there, I feel like there has to be a more efficient way to do this. Yeah, something about this feels weird. Wait, what's this? Oh, that's weird. Let's get rid of those little stragglers. Okay, there's still some more. I see those strange gaps. I understand where they're coming from. I know what must be done. All right, let me take another look at page 2. All right, so we have a larger. Okay. Hmm. I was hoping that messing around with the blending modes might be able to help with this, but I think it'd look better just like this. I do feel as well that it might be better to try. Hang on. Adding highlights rather than darker parts. Not to mention, since the majority of this is going to look like the lighter part anyway, I wonder if we might be able to leverage that difference in values and... No, that still looks weird. Alright. Well, you can't win them all. No, I have one more trick up my sleeve. Check this out. Alright. The trick in question is to grab the Milli pen and add that along the little seams here too. And also use the blur brush. Intensity of blur, increase that. And go back, do this, blur this, blur this. Okay, and there we go. That still feels weird. Maybe if I use a sort of blended version. Hang on. So my next idea is to blend this one out so we have a much gentler kind of shade color. I think that might be the key here. And maybe a little bit of soft eraser here and there. A little bit of this. What the oh, I'm still in the droplet mode. I was gonna say my airbrush brush seems a little bit busted. Yeah, okay, this works. Then, alright. I think next would be the shading on the inside of the dome. Okay. Filter. Wait, no, select Gaussian. I was gonna say select Gaussian blur. I think the whole thing of Gaussian blur is that you can't select it, from what I'm led to understand. I don't know. None of this is particularly complicated. It's just laborious. It takes time, but it's not complicated. Okay, then the shadows on the ground. How are we gonna handle those? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cast a shadow right here. I cast shadow. Fraudulent wizard who's trying really hard to fool the other wizards and letting him join their secret club. Send their ass to the shadow zone. Yep. I'm sending you to the shadow realm. And then he just like pushes you under an umbrella because like that's the closest thing he's got to like the shadow zone. Eye of hang on, like tail of frog and eye of newt. I have no second rhyme for that. I had something going there, but tragically, it seems like it was not meant to be. What if a wizard's like tail of frog and eye of newt? My pineapple is my favorite fruit. And like the other wizards are like, what kind of incantation is that? And like the guy's like very nervously figuring out just now that he accidentally went to the wizard convention rather to the freeform slam poetry sesh that he originally signed up for. I don't know. I guess it would just be normal. I guess it'd be more like a rap session or something rather than slam poetry. I don't think in slam poetry you necessarily need to rhyme stuff. I think it's just like airing out your feelings. Select color gamut. This one here. I don't think that's working. Wait, no, I think that is work. Wait, no, I think the reason that it's kind of working but not really working is because I'm doing it on the wrong layer. Okay. All right. It's another component down. Next, let's work on the grass here. Oh, this grass. Shut up. Stop. We already did that joke. We've been over that bit. I don't know. I don't know what at which point. I think one of the things that I need to train my sensibilities on is the extent to when like a joke is like a recurring theme. Like there's this thing called like a running gag, right? Where when you or like a callback. I think it's callback might be a more appropriate um term for this one. So the idea is that occasionally you make a joke pretty early the into like the conversation, right? Like usually for comedians, they make a joke like 4 or 5 minutes into their set, and then they leave it alone. They don't return. They just make like an off the cuff joke, and it's like done and dusted. But it's memorable enough that like later the audience is like able to remember it, you know. And then half an hour later, when they're talking about a completely like an perhaps unrelated thing, what they do is that they suddenly go back to that joke. Like they sort of like if the joke was regarding like a say gift horse dentist, and later on they're talking about like their friend who recently got unemployed, and they say, oh yeah, and it turns out that my friend is like being apprenticed to the gift horse dentist. You know, that's like a callback. And the issue is that I don't know to what extent I'm doing callbacks and to which extent I'm just like making normal ass jokes. Also, why is this not what? Oh, it's because the tree. Oh, wait, what? Okay, I'm so confused by the order of the layers here. I need to like go in reverse a little bit. Honestly, that seems fine. Like the way it is right now, seems pretty fine. I mean, I don't know. You could also just be doing like a time loop set. You know, you could just be doing a time loop bit and incorporate that into your jokes. Okay, just do that all over here. I think that's past a certain point. I do need to just go in and do something like this. But yeah, callbacks are great because if you can land them, it's hmm. They say that comedy is like saying something and then having something unexpected happen. So I think so, or you know, that's a very broad definition of comedy, or like the formula to comedy, right? Like that's only one theory, right? But I think like when you have that unexpected thing happening, might not be, you know, just an event in the story, but it might also be like an unexpected connection that's made to an earlier story. At least that's what I believe. Also, I need to do something real quick. I wanted to check something just really quickly. Okay, no, we're fine. I got really worried for a second because it looked like the paint hadn't quite reached the border, but I think if I just set the paint to a different mode, I think it's fine. Okay, then over here. Alright, that feels pretty good for the grass. I think the buildings can be left as is. I think the main things left are the inside blocks in this dumb platform arrangement. I will say some of the humor in Psychonauts aged poorly, but but one of the jokes that I remember very vividly and that I think still lands very well to this day is like this one bully kid is like is not naturally, as is their prerogative, bullying the protagonist, and at one point he's like, "This whole thing is stupid. This game is stupid. That flower is stupid. That thing flying at you is stupid." And the main character's like, "What's flying at me?" And then the bully hits him. It's a very simple and crude form of humor, but I don't know. I think even though like you know that this character is like of an angry, violent bully, you're still like not he's like been talking to you long enough that you're like, all right, maybe we're just having a civil conversation with this guy, and all of a sudden he just smacks you. And like the best part is that you're in a weird place, so conceivably something could be flying at you. I haven't thought a whole lot about like the essence and the principles of humor in a while. I don't know. I'm not. Humor isn't exactly like martial arts in that if you don't exercise it every once in a while, you'll lose touch with its principles. Although I guess that could be true of some cases. I don't know. For me, being funny is kind of like riding a bicycle. I feel like I'm like now that I've turned it on, I can't ever turn it off. I'm just gonna keep trying to make people laugh no matter what I do, for better and for worse. Also, art fight season is approaching. You know, we're like a month or two away, and so I am getting that very, very strong urge to redesign all of my OCs to some extent. I'm thinking about giving my cowboy some batwing flaps, chaps. I mean, he's not gonna get wings. I'm not giving my guy wings. Actually, that might not be such a bad idea, but it clashes a little bit with the tone of the rest of the universe that he's in. Okay. Nah. What I might do is I might just use the soft eraser here. Okay. I do feel like. Oh wait, no. I forgot one other component. The actual like grass back here. I do feel, however, that the colors back here are a little bit too bright. I do feel. Hang on. I might work on that in just a minute. But just real quick. Let's add a line here to differentiate this from the rest. I don't know. I do feel like in this case, making a shade first, clarify highlighted areas later approach is going to be the most efficient method. Select color gamut, this one here. And you know what I might do actually? I might go back to the old well and do some of the cross hatching to maybe smaller than that. No, that looks weird. Let's not do that. No, that looks weird as well. Let's retry that. Got it. I was talking. V did a stream the other day, right, where she went through a few walking tours, and during the conversation, the topic of the Atlanta Coca-Cola world came up, and somebody was, for some reason, they activated like this primal memory. I've been to Atlanta once or twice. Oh no, I've literally been there the one time, and I went to the world of Coca-Cola, and if you've never been to the world of Coca-Cola at Atlanta, at the end of the tour, they have a segment where you can basically drink as much soda as you want. They literally have full on like drink dispensers. You can pull it's like what is it called? Like they have like fountains, right? Like they have like soda fountains where you can pull as much soda of whatever type you like, and they have all kinds of like regional sodas there. They have all kinds of regional variants. They have most sodas that they produce are in there, right? And the thing is, not all regional sodas are made the same. So it's fountains from around the world. Yeah. Yeah, you understand. You understand. So the thing is, not all regional sodas are made the same. Some regional sodas are just like a fun drink that happens to be made in that region. You know, they're just like otherwise a perfectly normal soda that's like made in, I don't know, Wyoming or something. But some of these are not like that. So the one that I tried was this one called Beverly. And I'm not sure what it was. I thought at first that in initial retrospects, I thought that it was like a club soda or something. But I remember it being much more evil than that. Hang on, let me look up Beverly soda. Oh yeah, I do not forget. Beverly is a carbonated soft drink marketed as a non-alcoholic aperitif that was produced by the Coca-Cola Company for the Italian market and introduced in 1969. An aperitif is a drink consumed before a meal that is believed to help digestion. Following ongoing product consolidation in the Italian market, Beverly was discontinued in 2009. The bitter taste of Beverly has become familiar to many Americans who got a chance to try it at Coca-Cola tasting stations at the World of Coca-Cola Museums in Atlanta, Georgia, and Las Vegas, Nevada, as well as the Coca-Cola store at Disney Springs at Epcot's Club Cool, both located inside Walt Disney World in Lake Buena Vista and Bay Lake, Florida. Staff there have explained the flavor ingredient as grapefruit rind, which includes intensely bitter components. Okay, so it is different from club soda. So the reason that club soda, I believe, or tonic water, I think, no, this one is tonic water. The reason tonic water tastes the way it does is because of a component called quinine, which was actually believed to help combat malaria and was kind of like what gin and tonic was made for. Like they would mix gin with tonic water to make a drink that would help you stave off malaria. That was given to British troops who were, I don't know, fucking around and colonizing. Who cares? So I was like, is this like tonic water or is this like club soda? And like, it's not. It is grapefruit rind. Why would you do that? That's so hateful. Why would you do that? I mean, I guess aperitifs gotta be around, I suppose, but like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good reason for doing all this. It was just such an intensely evil flavor to me. I don't know. I know that they do have like different cultures have different forms of like palate cleansers for their food, right? You know, they have this aperitif in Western European countries. I think in Japan they use green tea to help like wash out the flavor of whatever you last ate, and so you have like a fresh palate for the next thing. But I don't know. This one seems a little bit vicious. I don't think this one likes me very much. Okay, there we go. Lovely. Okay, and if I turn on the lights. Yeah, something about the outside layer of this just doesn't strike me as correct. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just select all these. You know what? You guys can get it. Oh, wait. Hang on. That did something weird. All right. Go back a couple steps. All right. Copy, paste. Not quite what I had in mind. Maybe if I apply the night sky thing. I'm trying to find a way to make this darker without making it too dark. That feels much better, actually. Like that already with this, it feels much more coherent. All right, let's do the same thing for the houses and whatnot. Okay, grab these. All right, hit that thing with the gradient map beam. That did literally nothing. Okay. I wonder why. Wait, where? Which layer are these things on? Oh, they're right over here. All right. Let's just do that one then. Actually, why do we have these on a different layer? Why not just. Yeah, there we go. Why complicate our lives when we can make them we could simply make it less complicated? No need for this. There's absolutely no need to make it that twisted. All right, we have the background ready. I think the first thing to do is to add the kiss mark just so we don't forget it. Okay, and then fingertip blur. Made not that hard with the hardness. And then maybe just with a little bit of the soft eraser. Wait, what? Oh, shoot, that is definitely the wrong layer. All right, my fault. Let's go back. Retrocede. The retro, dale retro. Okay, yeah, that also probably explains why it behaved differently. All right, we can get rid of this text now. Okay. Then I think the next step would be to actually color in Hawk, which shouldn't be too hard. Should be able to finish this panel before we hit our time limit for today. Well, it's not like I got anything else going on tonight, so I might be able to go on for a little bit longer. Maybe see if I don't know. I like to... Sometimes there's like good places to stop, you know? So I think finishing a panel is often a good opportunity to either take a break or just say, yeah, no, we're done. Just because you can push your limits doesn't mean you should. The situation doesn't always call for that. As like noble as it is to like give your 100% for everything, it can wear you down pretty quick. Not to mention, in some situations, it's just rather unnecessary. But I guess developing your own judgment for that is kind of like part of your work ethic, right? Being able to say, all right, which situations can I, not necessarily which situations can I half-ass, but which situations should I half-ass? What are like half-ass opportunities that I have on my radar? It reminds me a little bit of those apps that you have for tracking your own progress in something. Like I remember there was this one person who was talking about how they were using one of those like mindfulness apps to track their progress on this game called Ultra Kill. Now, Ultra Kill is a very nice game. I do recommend it if you like a very high paced movement shooters. I am not very good at the game myself. I enjoy it though. I do recognize that it has tremendous sauce. Hello, Motocompo. But the thing is, right? It's also a very difficult game. It's a game that's very difficult to master. And in particular, Ultra Kill has like these super bosses called who are in like these secret levels that you can only get by like P ranking every single, by platinum ranking every single level in that set of stages. And these are some pretty hard fucking bosses. So for example, the first one is this dude called Minos Prime, who is essentially you fight the guy's corpse earlier on the level. Like the guy's corpse is still tough enough that it's a boss fight, which is a level of afterlife care that I aspire to myself. But then you have an opportunity to like fight this dude, essentially what's his like the remnant of his soul. But to get to that juicy little like lobster morsel, you do need to first defeat this thing called the flesh prison. And that's already a pretty difficult boss on its own. It's not the hardest, but it's definitely not easy. And then you fight Minos Prime, who is one of the hardest bosses ever. Seriously, Minos Prime, it's super interesting because like he only has access to like melee moves for the most part, and he will still like. And meanwhile, you have like guns and bullets and what have you, and he will still whoop your ass. Again, something I kind of aspire to. I don't know. Minos Ultra Kill it might not be the best role model, but you need to do what you take what you can get sometimes. All right, that's good for the base color. So now we need to do the actual shading. Okay. And over here. But yeah, anyway, there's this enemy called the Flesh Prison, and that's Minos' whole deal. But this person was like, "Yeah, I didn't do so great. I barely got to the Flesh Prison in Ultra Kill," and they logged that into their mental health app. And now the mental health app is like, "Have you thought a lot about the Flesh Prison? Have you tried a little bit more Flesh Prison today?" And so, I feel like that's just a very funny kind of motivation. Well, actually, I feel like it should not be necessarily referred to as motivation. Actually, I feel like it would be rather demotivating. Imagine you get whooped by a video game boss so hard that your mental health app bothers you about it. Like your little phone just chirps in a cute robotic voice, like, "Are you winning, user?" Something like that. Within a few, given the kind of progress that we've had in AI in the last couple months, well, actually, no, the last year or so, the kind of emphasis that that's had, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they just roll out, like almost every phone company rolls out some kind of like personal assistant AI, and which will call you cringe if you do badly at video games. I think that might really be the last straw for me. I think if we focus the rage and hatred in the hearts of everybody who like throws their controller at the wall whenever they lose at like Call of Duty or something, I think we could definitely destroy the offices of OpenAI. I think that's more than feasible, frankly. Perhaps we lack ambition. Okay, then over here. Okay, then put this over here. Okay, then sharpen this. Or may actually move it like this. Because when you move it like this, then you do it like that. Alright, then shadow for the collar. Okay, move it like this. Needs to be a little bit more dense, these lines, I feel. Okay, then move this one over here. Shading for the skin. That looks more like a sunburn, actually. Whoops. My fault. Alright, now let's move on to one of the big ticket items, the jetpack. I feel like that's going to have like a surprising amount of shading. Well, not a surprising, just a large amount of shading right here. Okay, then move this like so. It looked better earlier. And over here, likewise, we're going to have something like this. Lovely. I do feel the need to sharpen the corners around the edge here, though. Like when I don't have these like perfectly square, it makes them feel not sufficiently inorganic. Okay. Then, moving in from there, we got a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that. Thankfully, at least this time I don't have to draw the chevrons. I think they might be in the last... No, well, no, there's just a tiny bit in that last one. That's good. I don't really like drawing those. Oh no, again, it's not necessarily that I don't like drawing them, it's that it's just laborious. Yeah, this one still makes sense, so let's keep it. And actually, we might as well add something right here for the front of the wing, too. No, that looks weird. Unless I do it from the top down, in which case, maybe... Yeah, that looks less weird for some reason. Alright, let's do that. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze this down by 10 pixels. We're going to make like a straight line right down the middle. Just like that. And then second verse, same as the first, just in this part instead. Okay, what else is left? I think we got the pants, the leather, and the helmet. Okay, then over here. Okay, bump this around here. And then that should be... Still missing... We got a couple line errors over here. Let's just fix those up real quick. Looks like I wasn't looking closely enough at this area. But that's fine. That's an easy fix. All right. Muy bien. Okay, then over here, we have all of this. For the holster, we got the inside part here, we got the bottom part here. You probably have a little bit on the holster near the bottom, like so. I don't know, I feel like for the holster, we should just be like doing it like this. Like leather can be quite shiny, but I feel like due to the way that I've chosen that specific method to communicate that this texture is made out of metal, it might not be suitable for. I'm drawing on the base flat color layer, aren't I? Well, what's done is done. This one doesn't feel like it's going to go through a whole lot of modifications that would require me to keep the layers too separated. So thankfully, I don't think it'll come back to bite me in the ass. It might, but I doubt it. But it could happen. But I don't think it will. But it's a possibility. But then again, maybe not. I don't know. It's very odd. I tend to say that I have good luck, but it's generally it's generally for the situations where I over prepare where I seem to have good luck. Like those preparations, like it's super weird, right? Because whenever I over prepare, I usually don't end up needing them. Needing the things that I prepared, I mean. Which means that it went well, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It's a bad idea to put a pattern on that, because then that might lead to me like relying too much on that to save me. I don't know. I don't like relying on luck. Yeah, between a middling outcome that is guaranteed or a really good outcome that has an equally high chance of becoming a bad outcome, I think I usually go for the middling outcome. Maybe that means I lack ambition. It's not a bad thing to be reserved, though, especially in this kind of economical climate. Okay, then just add a couple lines here and there. I'm actually going to use the darker color of the boots on the inside part of the helmet here. I feel like it's just good to have two different kind of tones of color rather than just using the one. Okay. Move that on down. Might as well use this tone for the goggles up here. All right, leather shading should also take place up here. Got it. Then similar strategy to what we had up here. Just gonna bop, bop, bop. Then just a very light kind of... Hang on. Stretching my wrist real quick. I really should learn to do wrist stretches before I get to work. Or wrist exercises before I get to work. I don't know. I feel like stretches are probably for like a cool down, and then exercises just get them warmed up. Well, I guess you do a little bit of both, right? From what I remember from my karate classes, there's two different types of stretches. There are static stretches, which are essentially just you slowly kind of like upping the tension on whatever you're stretching out. And then there's like dynamic stretches, where you loosen it up and make it more flexible by working it up in like short bursts. Now there's like safe and unsafe ways to do both of these. But broadly speaking, if you're getting into something, you don't want to start with static stretches because that's like it's not priming the muscles for like motion, right? Conversely, I feel like that like dynamic stretches might be suitable for both warm up and cool down. Although I feel like maybe if you use them for cool down, like it'll just like keep the engine warm, so to speak. It's not actually gonna cool you off, which is what you want for a cooldown. It's not going to lower the strain on the muscles. Personally, I much prefer static stretches, although here's the thing, right? I feel like static stretches, I prefer to do those, but for dynamic stretches, they feel better. Like, have you ever seen that stretch where somebody like gets up from their desk and starts swinging their leg back and forth like a pendulum? That would be a great example of a dynamic stretch. And those feel super good. Like I really need to do more stretches. I honestly do think I'm at a serious risk of losing some major flexibility. I feel like I've really been neglecting my body recently. I'd like to do something about that soon. But right now I'm not in the right headspace for that. And I know, it's like, well, when will you be in the right headspace? You know, it's like, just do it today. Just do it today. But it really is harder than it sounds, isn't it? Well, even if that's the case, I want to try and do something eventually. As long as I hang on to that feeling, I'll find an opportunity. Okay. Shrink that down by. I'm gonna do 5 rather than 10 this time. Okay. Then add this, remove this. Add this. All right. Okay, then go over here. Cool. All right, I think that means we're done with Hawk more or less. I think the only thing left is to add some action lines for the Chuck, which is easily done. God, that is a gorgeous action line. That is a really good one. Hang on, I'm going to preserve that one just in case. All right. Thicken this bad boy up a little bit. And give it some friends, why not? Come on. Okay, so maybe working backwards is... nah. Also, I do think maybe it would be a good idea to put... a little bit of both, maybe. Hang on. Also, could I maybe just not... Like... Hang on. Okay. So here's where we go from here. I mean, first of all, we need to actually like redirect it so it actually goes to where it... No, actually, it's pretty good. All right, so here, let's just put the stroke layer on it and see where it goes. Where this journey takes us. All right, so maybe we reduce the line width over here. Or, alternatively, hang on. All right, so cut and paste. All right, not bad. No, wait, bad. Okay. I don't know, it feels like it's really lacking something. Maybe it might be better if I... Alright, first of all, I have to kiss Mark for good luck. Then we'll figure out the throwing line. So I think we will need to make at least part of it on this side. So let's make this actually like a vector layer. Okay, then put this kind of over here. Up. All right, loosen up the wrists again. There has to be a good way to do this. There's gotta be. Wait, actually, I know the perfect tool for this. Wait, hold on. I have an idea. Get rid of all this bullshit. I have an idea. All right, so I think there's a ruler here called like the parallel curve, which I hope does exactly what it implies it does. Okay. Hmm. Hold on. Something about. Eh? Eh? Wait, hold on. What? Wait, wait. Why? Where's it? Why is it going in that direction? All right, you know what? Maybe forget all that. This might have been a mistake performed in my hubris. Hmm. Okay. Okay. I do think our original approach of make one clean line and then bisect it is good. We just need to adapt it a little bit. So here's what let's do. Okay, that felt pretty nice. Let's try one more time. Okay, and then we just move it down. Ah, you dickhead. Okay, we can still work with this. Hold on. Okay, so now we're going to do this. All right, tuck this guy away. Oh, look, the little kiss mark's still floating there. That's cute. All right, then we do a little bit of schmovement here. A small, appreciable quantity of schmovement is deployed. Okay. So now, bring this back. We do add a stroke layer to this, or stroke effect to this. Except, and this is vital, we copy and paste where it should go. So for the one up top here, right? We're gonna want to have the one this one here, but remove the one up top here. Or actually, hang on, we could just rasterize it. And then what we could... I see I've left a gap there. That's problematic. All right, let's rewind a little bit. Why is there a gap? Why are you here? Why is there a gap? Me when I'm opening up a mall and I see that an unauthorized store that sells casual clothing has opened. All right. So then, okay. So for this one, we just want to keep this bottom half. Yeah, there we go. Easy as. Okay, use the G pen. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to grab this middle part here, and we're going to grab also this color here. And then we're going to do a little bit of magic with it together. Actually, I'm going to grab this one instead. Nope, I changed my mind. Is there like a kind of in-between color we might be able to use? Maybe like this one. Actually, no, yeah, that one would work pretty well because it's the color of the grenades. Okay. Then likewise over here. And finally over here. And just for the hell of it, narrow it down back here. All right, how's that looking? Mighty fine. I might actually also narrow down. Hang on. Gonna remove the ones back here from this layer. And then for this one, I am also going to narrow down the very tips of this one. Maybe even do like a little bit of motion blur on this. How about that? Like, what about a fingertip smudge? Oh, hashtag life hack discovered. All right, that's pretty good for today. I think I'm going to end it here for today. All right, panel 2 of page 13 finished. Then it's moving on to panel 3. That's probably going to get done tomorrow. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. If I behave myself, it might be finished. All right. Thanks to everybody who came by the stream. I'll be going again tomorrow. Thanks again to Bunny for the raid. And I will see you all later. Bye.